Our next session, it's not yet coffee break. It's the jewelry designers panel. And I invite to the stage Darren, Sherwood, Laura, Inghirami, and Tarun, Jain. We will have a panel discussion. I will be moderating. And we have a lot of topics that we will discuss. The first speaking will be Tarun Jain, the founder and managing director of the World Academy of Design. He's a third-generation jeweler, design and manufactures high-end jewelry for international markets, and became engaged in education in 2013. Then we have Laura Inghirami, founder and creative director of Donna Jewel. If you look at it in Instagram, has more followers than I have, so I'm jealous. She's a journalist, a teacher, an opinion leader, she's a number one opinion leader in the jewelry industry today, and she has been selected by Forbes as one of the top 100 under 30 leaders of the future. So she's a very important lady, and she's the founder of Donna Jewel, a very influential communication platform for jewelry design. And last but not least, we have Darren Sherwood. He's an acclaimed jeweler. He looks much younger than he actually is. He has been graduated by the Central St. Martin's College of Art and Design. He's a master bench jeweler, a 3D master. Let me tell you, do you know architects and engineers? I mean, you are in Dubai, wonderful architecture. And when the architects, the creative minds, do a complex design, they must have technical people to sort that out in materials. So he does it in precious metals with gemstones. So we do have a great panel today. Thank you very much for being here. And Tarun, Jain, I would start from you. I know that you have a few slides to present, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rui. Thank you, ICA, for inviting me to this prestigious event in Dubai. I'm glad that I'm here.
You have to lower your mic. It's for Vim, so it's like 2 meters high. Yes.
So thank you to ICA and thank you to DMCC for this prestigious event here. We have heard all technical information about gemstones. I would like to touch a different topic. It is related to gemstones, it is related to jewelry, our business, but the aspect is design. Gold would be sitting in only the safes, and it would be just used for bullion trading for the governments to, if there was no design, there will be no jewelry. Similarly, gemstones will not have their real beauty if they are not put into jewelry. How many gemstones would you be able to sell if you just sell the gemstones? If everybody sells the gemstones, there will be no sale. Somebody is making jewelry, that's why a wholesaler is selling, that's why a miner is mining. And somewhere where the jewelry is selling, why it is selling? Because there is a design. So design is the most important aspect for jewelry. Now coming to a pain point, I want to connect two things together here. Let's, coming to the point where, what are the problems of our industry? I will come to the solution. So first, and the biggest issue with every jeweler, every gemstone dealer is the dead stock. Second, unexpected losses. And third, bad debts. Isn't it? How many of us agree? How many of us agree? Please kindly raise your hands. We have dead stock. We have unsold stones for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Yeah, unsold. We have unexpected losses and we had bad debts. Imagine if we never had a bad debt, we never had a loss, what would be our profit? Every year we book some losses. So what is required? What is the solution? First thing, formal education of jewelry. An emerald manufacturer, a big emerald manufacturer, for generations, their family is manufacturing emeralds. They are known for emeralds. A new generation comes in, a 20-year-old guy, goes to Harvard, does good business, learns everything, but He's taught only about emeralds. He did not go to a school to learn about jewelry, about design. He only knows about emeralds. 10 years later, when he's in business, the business takes different dimensions, and emerald is no more fruitful for him. He wants to do jewelry. Now, he did not learn. He's 40 now. What would he do? He did not know anything about diamonds. He don't know anything about rubies. What he only knows and he has seen is emeralds. So there is a problem. This is the issue, that we need to give a 360-degree education to every young jewelry professional coming into the industry. You never know in future where the business will take him. So there will be two types of learning. One is executive learning. The business owner should learn. You don't have to file yourself. You don't have to do casting yourself. You don't have to cut gemstones yourself, but you should know how it is done. This is an exclusive learning which is for executives, the owners of the company. You should learn everything, how the processes are done, so that you can control your company, you can control the policies, you can manage your business. Second is executor learning, what our employees should learn, what your designers should learn. This, we all are familiar. Mohs scale of hardness, 1 to 10, okay? But I'll give you a new dimension, jeweler's scale of hardness. What will make you a perfect jeweler? What will make a new generation? Let's talk only of new generation, because our panel is about the new generation, the next generation of designers. So what is that scale of hardness? A designer, a new jewelry professional should know about mining. He should be taken to a mine, a tour to the mine, how gemstones are mined, how they are cut, how they are polished, what is gemology. He should learn about gem identification. Then he should learn about diamonds. Then he should learn about design development, how jewelry is designed. That's how he's going to design a new cut. You don't have to give him only rounds and cabochons and squares and princess. Okay, design around this. He should know how the rock looks like so he can make slices out of it. 20 years back, I started making slices of emerald for Kumi, from a brand from New York, and we made a full necklace of emerald slices, which was on the De Beers big black catalog. So a development happened because I went to the factory, I saw the flat stones, I said, what are you doing with this? I shaped it myself because thanks to my father, he taught me everything what I'm talking about. So I shaped them, polished them, faceted the edges, and we had emerald slices. That was little innovation I did. So a designer should be exposed to the mine, to the cutting, polishing, then design development, how a jewelry design is developed. That's why he will go back and find out what he needs to develop a new design. He should know how 3D designing is done. He should know how the jewelry manufacturing is done. So he would know how to design a piece. What can be casted, what can be hand set, what can be set in bezel, what can be set in prongs, what you can drill through, what you cannot. These things he will learn only when you teach him manufacturing. Then the finest thing in jewelry is the quality control. If you are a business owner and you have not learned the quality control, how to check your finish of your jewelry piece, the scratches, the setting, the height, the linking, the fall, then you need to learn. That will give you a success part. Then the sales. You have learned everything, but you don't know how to make a sale. So sales should be taught. That should be a very important part of your business. Maybe you will not be the salesman of your company, but you should know so you can control your team. Then next, purchase. If you're not buying at the right price, you will never be able to sell. My father used to say, a tight purchase is a good profit. The lower you purchase, the higher your profit will go. So the purchase has to be taught how to bargain, which market you go, how you bargain, how you start bargaining. When you see a gemstone, how to control your emotions. You don't have to show that, yeah, you like it. So these are the tricks of trade, they should be taught. Then marketing. You have learned everything, but you don't know how to market your goods. That's why our goods are in our safe. Marketing is important part. This all learning is for executive level, and it should be taught in a proper way. What is the last thing we are missing? Can anybody tell me what is the last thing missing in our business which we give the least importance. And we get hit by the biggest losses in that field. That is law. When my son turned 23, I told him, when he finished his graduation, I said, go and learn law first if you want to go in business. So he did not pursue his career in law, but for 6 months he developed the skills to give exam for passing the law, and he learned so much. Imagine if we had learned law, if we were a lawyer, would we ever lose that payment? So many customers, so many buyers, so many retailers, they lose so much of money just because we don't know law. It's just going by the principle. Jewelry goes by word of mouth. Okay, we honor our word of mouth. What about the customer? He doesn't care. So we have to be very, very strict in business. If we know law or we have a lawyer in our family, in our circle, if we don't learn law, we should at least tie up with a good lawyer who is very, very close to us. That will help our business. If we can save the losses, if we can save the shoplifting, if we can save the bad debts, we will be at a different level. Because of this special, the value of the product we are dealing in, we lose a lot of money. Then here comes the security. Security is also a very important aspect. We are going to shows, we are traveling, we are exhibiting, we put our jewelry in display, in transit. How to secure our goods, this is also very important. This all is part of education, which we must put it all together. If you have the best of the jewelry, the best of the stones, and you're traveling it in your pocket, you don't know which ziplock, how to keep it safe, how the stones will not scratch. So many things, there are thousands of things to learn. You can control the losses. That's where we will earn. And handling the goods in the show. We see all the showcases, the glass can be lifted easily with a coin. Anybody can lift up the glass, pick up the stones. Lots of thefts happen like this. So these things we must learn, and this is all which is important. So these are the points, I just put them together. Secrets of success for a jeweler: mining, gem cutting, gemology, diamonds, design development, 3D design, manufacturing, quality control, sales, purchase, marketing, finance. Finance is also important. What happens as a new jeweler? I'm very bright jeweler. My father gave me he has a huge empire. I earn, I spend more again. So I keep piling up my stock of gemstones. A pile of gemstones will not give you money will not earn you money. You should decide how much money I will invest back in business, how much money I will put in investments where I can earn profits. The goods sitting in the safe will not give you the profits. So this planning of financial learning is very important to be in business. So that's all from my side. And formal education, I would insist we should all consider formal education for all our younger generation so that they can succeed in business in future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, I still collaborate with design schools, and designers, they have creative minds, but they have no clue how to get into the business. So this is critical, and this is really important that you mentioned that. Talking about creativity, we have here Laura, and she's very connected with the young creative community, especially in Italy, but basically all around Europe. And she comes from a family that is related to our industry, and she has been in contact with the younger generation. She's pretty young as well, but with the younger generation of creative minds, that they struggle to understand the trade, to know their first steps, what directions they should make. And you also prepare the presentation of something that you all will find exciting, because it has to do with how the young peoples understand and see the color and gemstone industry. So please, Laura, thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm really honored to be here standing and represent the young generation of jewelry enthusiasts and professionals. And I want to thank ICA for inviting me. Since the beginning of my journey in this industry, I always try to give voice to the stories of excellence that exist. I talk about young artisans, young talents, designers, because there are so many beautiful stories, but many of them has no light. So through the digital means, I try to give a spotlight on these beautiful stories, and this has become viral. Today we are followed by more than 200,000 people in all our channels, and what we are trying to do is really to support the young generation of designers and talents. If we can put the presentation, I would like to share with you a survey we made. Here I'm with my students from the European Institute of Design, where I teach management of design of jewelry. And I'm trying to bring them closer to the industry and share with them the beauty and the also professional opportunities that exist in our field. With this survey, we try to understand what are the young generation perception for color gemstones. So the focus is on the perception of the young designers, but also of the potential end customers that will be the buyers of the future. The target of the survey see 300 people coming from all over the world, and the 50% of them are designers, while the other 50% are jewelry enthusiasts, experts, and gems lovers. They say they consider themselves unknowledgeable about the subject, so the 60% knows about our industry and about gemstones. I do a premise. This survey is a qualitative survey, so don't take it as a scientific evidence, but just as a collection of the preferences of the young generation. The interesting thing is that you will see a correspondence between the answer of the young designers and the one of the potential customers. So to me, this is quite interesting because it means that there is a correspondence between the market demand and what the designers offer to the young public. So the first question we made is which are the most important values for you when we talk about color gemstones? And the young people answer that aesthetics is the first value and preciousness is the second one, respectively with the 35% and the 30%. But also naturalness plays a key role with a 20%. So we try to understand what aesthetics and preciousness means for the young generations. So it emerged that colors is the most important feature for the young generation of designers and the potential end customers. I would like to also make you observe that clarity is just the 1%. So perfection is absolutely not important for the young generation. We will see it in a bit. Then we asked if they prefer treated or untreated gemstones, and the 75% answered that they prefer untreated gemstones for their uniqueness, originality. So imperfection of nature is not seen as something bad, but it's seen as an added value, something beautiful, something original, something unique. So those who prefer synthetic stones told us that they prefer it because they perceive them as more sustainable and ethical, as well as cheaper. So I believe this 10%, even if it's not that much, it's quite interesting because we really need to create more culture for the young generation among the difference between natural and synthetic stones. So when we ask if the young people prefer precious or semi-precious stones, use these terms to define the traditional and the less traditional stones. So they are indifferent between precious or semi-precious stones. On this graphic, you can see 3 groups of different gemstones. So it was quite fun to ask to the young people which among these 3 groups of gemstones they prefer. So the first group is made by alexandrite, iolite, kunzite, morganite, paraiba, tourmaline, and opal. The second group is made by emerald, ruby, and sapphire. And the third one by aquamarine, amethyst, topaz, citrine, and garnet. So the 66% prefer the first group. So the first group shows that the young people prefer the more original and less known stone. Let's go on a focus on designers. So first of all, for designers, it's really important, the trends. So they are knowledgeable about the market and they follow the trends as well as their personal inspiration. And according to the young designers, the most relevant and the most relevant trends in the industry for the moment are for sure colors. So brightly colored stone, they mention yellow, blue, green, and the shadows of red, as well as unusual stone. So originality keeps coming back. Among the most fascinating and particular color stone, the interviews has mentioned rainbow obsidian, red beryl, sphere, pargasite. So as you can see, they really value unusual, original, different and particular stones. They also said they used and they purchased artificially manufactured stones such as glass or cubic zirconia. We ended this survey by asking to this sample of people if they want to learn more about the world of gemstones. And we understood that there is so much curiosity and so much hungry of knowledge about this field. So most of everybody answered that they want to know more. And they want to discover the uncommon, the unique, the rare, and the original stones. They want to discover their history, their lore, so their mythology, and also their origin and sustainability. So where they come from. How can I know where this like jewel was made? Like how can I know where this gem came from? So they say they are interested by uniqueness, rarity, extravagance. They really want to understand more, to express their and represent their authentic identity through their designs. And for the potential customers, they said they really need storytelling because they want to fall in love with the world of gems. So in general, these qualitative studies has shown that the young generation really value what is unique, original, authentic, and emotional, with a particular focus on color, rather than what corresponds to perfection. or preciousness or aesthetics. Also, naturalness plays a key role because young people are fascinated by what is imperfect, what is unique, what is original and different. Young designers said that the trends are about brightly colored stones like yellow, blue, green, and red, unusual stones, and extravagant and unique colors. So if you have any question, I will be really happy to answer. I thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much indeed. And as I told you, I think this is a unique survey that gives us, the industry, more clues to try to communicate with younger buyers, with younger members of our trade, that eventually they will be the ones following boutique jewelry or even working for the big brands and ordering big purchases of colored gemstones. So this is critical. Thank you very much. And it takes the special, you need to be on a special place on the industry like yourself among the designers and students to be able to get honest responses from them. So valuable information. We will have answers later on. Next on the stage we have Darren Sherwood. He's a great speaker, and I'm sure that you will, from his accent, I think you will get where he comes from, and you will be impressed by what's happening behind the jewelry bench before nice gemstones get into the jewelry shop. Remember when I said that in the movie industry we see only the end shot? In the jewelry industry we see the beautiful jewelry, and sometimes we don't appreciate what's behind at the bench to make it happen. So Darren, thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm just trying to give you a kind of broad spectrum of what I go through on a pretty much daily. So, why am I here? I keep asking myself the same question. I should really be in Trinidad right about now because it's carnival season and that's where I should be. But, you know, Rui emailed me like 2 days after I booked my costume and I was like, man. All right. But anyway, that kind of got me thinking that next year maybe, you know, move it down there, then we can do everything in one go. But anyway, so about me, I am a traditionally trained diamond mounter, so I spent a minimum of 8 years being tortured by my first boss, pretty much beating me every day to learn the proper way of making jewelry on the high end. He was ex-Cartier, his dad was ex-Cartier, and so was his grandfather. And from that, you kind of learn the technicalities that you don't normally get in the jewelry industry. From there, I went on to work for Graph, and I got into CAD design, and I do a lot of 3D printing, modeling, scanning stones, everything like that. I currently own my own shop, which is Sherwood Jewellery, and I'm splitting the brand and making a more high-end piece, which is Mr. Sherwood. So, how it all started. Went to Central St. Martin's and thought I was going to be a sculptor. Realized I really was bad at sculpture. It really wasn't for me. I have massive respect for fine artists after that. Did metalwork at Central St. Martin's where I learned silversmithing, made massive things like Grant MacDonald. We made these huge palms for, I think it was Sultan of Brunei actually, we made them for. From there I got into jewellery, working for Griffin of London, worked for Graph for many years, Stephen Webster and Garrard, who were the crown jewelers at the time. And since then I've been able to work for many different brands all over the place. Ronald Abram's been the furthest from me because he's based in Hong Kong, I believe. And got to play around with really cool antique stuff from Moira and Gray's Antiques, which is always hilarious working with antique jewelry because you don't know how it was put together. So put a flame on it, whole thing falls apart, have to put it back together before your boss comes in and murders you. So it's a really good learning curve. But yeah, these were the kind of silverware things I specialized in, mainly because I like torturing myself and making really difficult things like flat surfaces on silver. When you heat up silver sheet in particular, it starts buckling. And when it's polished, you can see like really cool waves in it, which no one likes to see. So you have to, there's certain techniques called plating and stuff when you're making clocks like those to keep the metal flat. So I always liked the more technical side of metalwork, which got me into the fine jewellery world. I started off in South Molton Street, where I was thrown straight into making fun stuff like this. This was the world's most expensive watch made by Graf. It's absolutely ridiculous. You couldn't even see the hands on the clock. It was just beyond too many diamonds. I think we made that in 2 days, actually, the whole workshop. Yeah, it's insane. That was the world's most expensive brooch. I think it was 100 million. Yeah, if you like it. Don't know, it's not my kind of thing, but there you go. And again, they specialize in diamonds. When I was there, I think they were buying 60% of the world's yellow diamonds at the time. That necklace was 226 carats, all D-flawless, except for that little marquee at the top. That was a VVS1 or something like that. And then since then, it's kind of, people don't really understand the process of what goes into making a piece of jewelry like that. So the basic steps are the designer gets hold of it, passes us the design. We speak to the designer and go, I don't understand your drawing, it doesn't make any damn sense. And then they explain it to us, we make it by hand, we get it pre-polished, we assemble it all, we get it set, the setter destroys it, we murder the setter, we remake it, then we go into final polish. So we just kind of reset that, because I have this general hatred for stone setters, if you'll gather that as I go along. The new way of doing it is CAD. So we can 3D print things, clean up so the good thing with CAD, you can do 3D models, show the designers, make sure that everything is exactly where they want it to be. Then you clean it up, you reassemble, set, kill the setter, remake it. It's the same process, just you've got CAD in there now, and you can make multiples of it. So the original way of hand-making things is extremely time-consuming, especially when you're doing mirrored image or tiaras and you have to do double sides and mirror image of everything, and when you're going into the high end and everything's overlapping and you have to make sure all those curves are exactly the same. CAD, it gets all of that out the way, because you can just press mirror and you've got the other side done. So you can spend all your time, when you're doing Bombay rings, you can just pretty much sculpt a quarter of the ring, mirror it 3 times, and you've got the whole ring, and it's absolutely perfect. A little bit difficult when you're doing colored stones, because some of the sapphires, the bellies on them, they throw everything out and it goes a bit wrong. But in general, it does work. But there is a huge amount of accuracy, which I love. And then the problem you've got with a lot of modern day CAD designers is that they think it's the be-all end-all, and they don't realize it's a tool it's just another tool. It's like an extra hammer that we've got in the industry. And that's why you end up getting a lot of jobs coming out that look manufactured by machine, which is where we don't want to go. And listening to Tarun, and I hope that you teach your students this, that every jewelry piece should look handmade when it's finished. You should have no clue how they reach that end piece. So that is a huge thing, and I'm glad that you've done that. So this was the original way we started. CNC, amazingly beautiful machines, love them. You put in a piece of wax, put in your CAD design, and it mills it all out. Amazing. That was the first piece we did at Graf, which was this humongous brooch with a trombler in the middle. They set this thing with like carat stones in the middle. It was absolutely insane. It was about that big, I think. We actually couldn't fit one of the leaves on the mill to pre-cut all the back holes and everything like that. So we had to contact the company, and they called in a guy, says, yeah, he's just finishing work, and then he's going to work on it overnight. I said, oh, does he work for you guys? I said, no, he's in NASA. He writes all the flight things for the shuttles. I was like, all right, so he's a rocket scientist. Good on you. And so, yeah, that's the kind of crazy complexity that went into this piece that no one will ever know about, because I don't even think we ever found out who bought it or where it went. This is polygon modeling. Normal modeling across jewelry is NURBS modeling, so imagine you draw two straight lines and you loft a surface between them, and that's your basic ring. Polygon modeling is you get a ball and you can push and pull the pixels and sculpt it into whatever you like. The creepy hands, they were really horrible, weird earrings that went in for somebody, and they had like gold bangles, diamond rings, and a disgusting amethyst that was hanging off them. Very creepy, a woman loved them. The little doggy, he went into a Fabergé egg, and the belt buckle was for some guy's son. So these were the kind of things I used to make for graph. Difficult part with graph and yellow diamonds in particular, if you all have ever played with them or seen them, the girdles, well, they're very straight. So when you try to do anything by machine, you can never really take that into account. Especially then, because 3D scanning wasn't really a thing back then when I did that. The necklace was pretty much mostly handmade, apart from the two curvy bits at the side. Everything else was virtually handmade. Because it's kind of pointless trying to CAD things like that, because all the stones were different. And you ended up just hand cutting every single bezel in them. The complexities of CAD and hand making, you just need to know when to use it within a job. This one, for instance, was a basic layout we got from Graph. Difficult parts with this that you can see straight off is the necklaces. If they're jointed the wrong side, the row of rubies and diamonds will not sit straight. They'll kind of always sit sideways. Again, it's kind of pointless making it by CAD, because you will have to hand make most of that anyway. So that was a whole job, fully handmade, and very irritating, because my favorite stone setter got hold of it and ground out every single joint in the whole necklace and destroyed like a month and a half's work in, I think it was a morning. It wasn't even, like, I think he had it for like 2 hours and destroyed the whole necklace. So I had to remake that whole thing, which was fun. But yeah, worked out in the end. And this one was half machine made, half handmade. So we made the central section on CAD, all the edging wires we did by hand, all the collets and everything else like that. So, and always snaps and snaps in class. We always do that by hand. My theory when it comes to making things is you should always over-engineer things, because jewelry will outlive all of us if it's made correctly. And hopefully it would outlive everyone. This was a pearl cuff that I made for Garrard. Absolutely ridiculous clasp that I came up with, but it works, and it was just completely unnecessary. You pull the tassels on the front, and the whole thing springs open. Yeah, they didn't ask for it, but I just went over the top, and yeah, they liked it. So this is what I normally get from designers. So yeah, so if you all have any contact with designers out there, please teach them how to draw before they speak to people like me. It does help. Yeah, so this is our biggest issue when it comes to diamond mounting, because we get all these really high expectations and really bad drawings. So this one, for instance, this turned into this. And this one, which took me about a good week to figure out what she wanted, turned into this at the end. So, but that's where I've kind of come into play, where I can decipher what people want from their style of working. Every now and again, I get a very good designer like Georgie here, and she's extremely accurate. She used to be head designer for Garrard. And this was a lovely piece that we did together. It's, I think it was a 7.5 carat emerald, and so I did all the CAD work, sent her models, she showed her clients. It was then sent off to Israel to get set. The diamonds were cut and set and then sent back so we could put the center collar in and set the emerald. Now, so we were able to show the client all these steps, and then I showed the designer how it was all put together, and and the process of getting everything absolutely clean and mirror polished before it went together. It was sent off to Israel, all looks great, until you looked a bit closer, where the setters destroyed every single setting edge there possibly was. So I had to rebuild this on the laser machine with trimmed diamonds in it, without destroying the diamonds or wrecking the whole mount. Again, my general hatred for setters has been rekindled. Not only that, I sent the emerald off to one stone setter who's a very high-end stone setter, and sent it off to him just to set the central stone. He had it for a day and a half, sent it back to me, and the center stone was loose. So on top of that, but at the end, it all worked out. So just always remember the saying, a good setter is a dead setter. It will pay loads of dividends. So when you get into CAD and the accuracy of it all, you can lay out the gemstones. The more years you do it, the more you get used to the amount of tolerances you need to give. So between emeralds, how much space you need to give to them for them to be lowered, for the grains to be raised, who is setting it, because if a traditional setter can raise grains, modern setters who do microsetting, they don't know how to do that. So if you find a setter who can do traditional skills, they will make your jobs look even better than the newer ones. Although new ones, they have the cleanliness of microscopes. This job, for instance, was split into all those parts, cleaned up, set separately, pinned together. Then where the pins went in, the last stones were put in to cover where the pins went in, so you have no idea where anything was set located or pinned together. But if it ever needs to be sized or anything like that, we can take it apart, and pretty much most of it should be intact. And the good thing with that as well, you can just press resize and it goes to any size. This is how I normally work with a bottle of rum. As I was saying, you want a job to look handmade when it's finished. So this one, for instance, I drilled out all the center sections and opened out all the back holes by hand. This is a skill that you're forever learning. You start. I started that back in '99, and I am still learning how to backhole. There are some guys out there who are absolutely amazing. I am all right. Some guys are a lot better than me, so it's just one of those things. But always stay hydrated at work. That's the most important thing from this lesson. This was a really cool thing to work on, actually. A gentleman bought this for his daughter, and all the fins and his head were on tromblers, so as soon as she moved, everything moved with it. We took ages to select the sapphires that go into the back, and then the rest of it was pavéed, but it was all pretty much done on locators, and when you open up the back, there's just a ton of springs, so there's spiral springs that you have to get to the right thickness, otherwise the fins won't move. So it's all a really very slight tolerance. So I think the front ones were something like 0.54 and the back ones were 0.47 or something like that thickness. So because of the weight of them after they were set, you needed to adjust them accordingly. Really good fun to work on. And this final piece, I was asked if I had time to do a job. And I said, yeah, I might do. Then in the post, I just got a box of diamonds. I was like, yeah, great, cheers. Then they sent me the design. This was the amount of pieces I had to split it up into to create this piece. It was a cuff called the Rising Sun. It was covered in diamonds everywhere, colored diamonds everywhere, sprung on 2 parts. It took me 80 hours to actually do on the CAD and about 80 hours to do on the bench. So you understand the amount of effort and work that goes into these things. I mean, looking at the back holes, these were all made smaller than they need to be, so you have to still go through them with a saw and open them all out and clean them and repolish them before they are fully set. And that was the final piece when it was done. So it's the amount of effort that goes into a piece of jewelry. You've got to understand that you can create a piece of jewelry very quickly, but to take it to another level, to go high-end jewelry and to pass that knowledge on to people, you really need, it's more passion than profit. You know, I quote for a job and I normally end up spending definitely more time than necessary making it, because simple things that, you know, even if it's a simple lift-up shank, you need to make sure those proportions are correct. You know, the old jewelry houses got to those levels because they spent that time creating those amazing pieces and to get all the proportions right. And convincing young people to get into it is the next step. You know, that's why I'm very interested to speak to you later about how you're going about it, because in London it's a big issue, like getting young people interested in bench work. It's a dying art. So, and the problem is all the old boys are retiring with no one to teach. So, yeah, hopefully, you know, we'll be seeing some amazing things in the future. So, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
thank you. Thank you very much, Darren. So I think in the end of the day today, we will realize that when we visit a jewelry shop with a complex jewelry artifact with gemstones set by setters, the ones that you love, we appreciate the complexity, what's behind it. So I think thank you very much. You made us aware that there is a lot of hours and a lot of dedication with that. So I would open now the floor to any questions that you might have to our panel. So if you wish to throw a question to the distinguished guests that we have, one at a time, please. Okay, lady over there. Can you have a microphone, please? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You guys hear me okay? Annie Dureska, I am CFO of Jewelers of America and board president of Black in Jewelry Coalition. And so we also are challenged with getting the youth involved. As you said, it's a dying art in terms of bench jewelry or even different fields in the jewelry industry. I'm curious to hear, with all of the great work that you're doing with the youth, how are you connecting with leaders in this room or others, whether it's through apprenticeships or internships, to actually get them to actually be in the field themselves?
Are you asking to a specific?
All three.
Okay, good. Laura, you can start. They are discussing. The guys are discussing who picks the microphone. There you go.
So first of all, thank you for this question, because this subject is something I feel very close to me, and all my team members feel this subject very close. In Italy is also a big issue to, you know, have young people working on a bench and make them understand also the professional opportunities that our market is offering now, because there are huge opportunities for young artisans as well as young designers. Unfortunately, I believe there is a stereotype that says that if you follow a path of university, of the academy, you, let's say, you are better than those who follow like a path which brings you to work with your hands. While, to my opinion, these two paths are different but have the same importance. So this is the first things I believe we should make the young people understand. Being an artisan, being an artist is the most beautiful job in the world. If I could be an artist, an artisan, I wish you could be, but I didn't have the talent to be an artisan, to be an artist, to be a designer. I was born with the mission to give voice to them. But I believe that we really need to make them understand the beauty that is behind it. So people like you, with your organization, and all the young designers here and those who are watching from home, we are a great community. All together, we should create a movement to make our people, our young people, understand how beautiful it is to work in this industry, and make them feel part of values. I believe that we should share values with the young generation. Today, young people don't buy brands or products because they are brands or because they are nice products. We really buy a word of values, a word of principle. I believe, for example, in sustainability. I believe in gender equality. I believe in inclusivity. And to me, a brand that communicates authentically these values, it's something that I feel part of myself. So we, as an industry, we should communicate a word of values to make the young generation closer to us.
Thank you. Darren? Please, whoever.
Your question was regarding how we are going to convey or connect the younger generation, right? So everybody has their own way, and it will only happen when everybody puts their effort in their region. What my support in this direction was, because I had been in the industry for 30 years, right from childhood, we saw everything, manufacturing, designing, the struggle of designers, the struggle of new generation, the struggle in learning. So I started education, and as in World Academy of Design, we established in UAE. I thought UAE is the best place to be global. And in that first step, first thing is to unite everybody, put everybody together on one platform. And the best way was to launch an international jewelry design competition, which will be easy for everybody to participate. We did not keep a high fee for participation. It was only $8 to participate and send your entry. We put 12 categories so that every aspect of designer, every kind of designer would come in. Then we made it free for certain countries like Iran, where the designers don't have bank facility, the credit card facility, so we made them free. And we got 300 designers from around the world sending in their designs. Now, this is not just a competition. The idea is to choose from them who has the talent, what is the creativity. We're not just selecting and deselecting and rejecting. We are going to mentor them. Whoever has been able to reach top 100, we will take them forward. Those who are not able to reach, we will mentor them. We have a group of judges from ICA. We have Ivan Kaplan is on the panel. We have Paula De Luca from Italy. She's on our panel. Marco, the group director of IG, he's on the panel. So these stalwarts of the industry have agreed to give their time, their devotion to develop these designers all around the world. And then next step will be to give them individually education on where they lack. If they need financial support, we will give them financial support. If they want to learn designing, we will support them in designing. So this was the first step, a very small one, that to find the designers and who are willing to go into the jewelry industry. Because design is something a youngster would look forward to enter into. They would not think, okay, I will become a diamond dealer. They will think, I will become a designer. It looks fascinating to them. Then they slowly decide their line. We have to guide them. We have to ask them what you like, why you came into the industry. So we nurture them one by one. That's how we trained 400 designers in last 2 years being here, and thanks to COVID, to take jewelry designing online. So we did on Matrix Gold, online designing with screen sharing, thanks to technology, and we could make it. And those designers are doing wonders now. So it's in coordination with GemVision, we're doing very good with that. The idea is, the core purpose of my leaving the jewelry industry, coming into education, was bring up the education level and make the strong designers, strong jewelry professionals for the future. And this is how we are going to give them employment, and everything will follow up on this. So whole year, every year there will be a competition, and whole year we are going to give them support and connect them with the jewelers. Already our designers, we give them internship in the factories, we send them to the retail store. no matter if they are learning designing, we still send them to the retail store to get the first-hand experience, what the customer wants. Sitting on your computer, you will never know. You have to see how there's bargaining with the salesman, what the customer is saying, how he's responding, what pieces he's liking, why he's liking, what is the cost structure. So all these things is part of learning, and we are trying our best to start this.
Thank you. Yeah. Darren?
Hi. So in London, it's a little bit different how the trade works. We're very separate. You know, the industry is extremely divided. So stone setters will learn their trade for 8 years. We'll learn our trade for 8 years. Engravers will learn their trade for 8 years before you become useful. So to interest people into that part of the industry, designers are never shown how we do stuff because it restricts their way of thinking. A lot of the top designers I know have no idea how jewelry is made. They just design amazing things. And then it's passed on to us to make their crazy idea work. So Goldsmith Center is trying to push, and they're trying to do pre-apprenticeships, because the issue that we have at the moment is that a lot of masters are taking on apprentices, and the apprentices can't handle it. They get bored, they want to leave, they want to do another industry. You know, why would they do our trade and sit behind a bench all day when they can go and work in the city and earn massive money for doing nothing, for being a paper boy? So it's really, they're just trying to filter out the passionate people who want to do handmade stuff. And like Laura was saying, it's like university isn't the way for us, really. If I knew about apprenticeships when I was younger, I never would have gone to university, for the simple fact that, yes, I can do the work, I just prefer to do handmade stuff. And I can't do stone setting because it bores me to tears. So it's kind of what mentality you have, or the person has, will find the right part of the trade. A lot of us in the industry, in my part of the industry, we are fantastic at making, we're just terrible at business. Or we don't have the patience of monotony of stone setting, or engravers are a different breed, they're just weird. So, but yeah, it's really trying to hone in the right skill set for the right student. And the big issue at the moment is with technology and social media and everything else is, how do you take a kid away from that technological world? Because a lot of them are going into the CAD, and my biggest issue with that is, yes, you can go into CAD, you can do amazing things on CAD, but you have no idea how jewelry is made, so your jewelry will never come out looking right. And also, what's the longevity of it? Because I'm pretty sure that, 5-10 years, AI will destroy the CAD industry. You know, jewelry, it's manufactured, you are set around a finger, a neck, a bracelet, you know, a wrist. A computer can work out the geometry of a body, and it's not that long. So then you're going to have all these highly skilled CAD designers with no idea how to do anything, because they can't make jewelry. So I think it's all going to come back to handmade skills, and the issue with that is all the old boys who can teach it, they're all retired. And so you need to learn that foundation work before anything, if that's the route that these people want to go. But it is that filtering. You need a pre-filter before they go into the industries, because then that could turn someone's mentality to love and hate. You know, I love jewelry, then I started it, my boss was an idiot, I don't want to do it ever again, and I'll go into a different industry. So it's things like that. You know, we've lost a lot of good apprentices because of that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We still have time for one short question. Yes, Al, very short. Can you have a microphone, please? Okay, thanks.
Who teaches the business side of it? Did they teach it at Central St. Martin? Do you teach it at your design institution? Like, who teaches the business side of it? Because creativity is so amazing, but if you're not profitable, you're quoting and you're spending too much, more than you quoted, who teaches the business side of it?
1 minute each, 1 minute.
So to me, it's very interesting.
You broke the microphone. All the microphones are broken.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. So, for my perspective, when I founded Donna Jewel, it was founded to, give the means to the young designers and the young artists to communicate themselves in the industry. So, in this moment, we are like a tailor-made consulting company specialized in the creative and then marketing and strategic field of jewelry. And we help from the emerging talent to the artisan to the big brand to express values and the identity, especially to the young generation, and position themselves. So I'm really interested by this question because I believe in our industry each player has a very important role. There is so much space to create something all together. What do you think?
1 minute.
Yeah, I think the business side of it is kind of rare because not many will go self-employed. Or if they do, it will be, this job is going to cost me 100 quid to set, and then I'll charge them 200 quid, whatever. So it's really small. But to expand a business and to actually go, I want to create a business and grow from that, they're very few that will be designer makers, unless they have a lot of backing. And if they do have backing, then those backers will have their financial planners. It's very, very rare for one person to kind of do that in the industry, from my knowledge, from what I've seen, and all the other designers. But yeah, mine is just trial and error. Like, just hemorrhage money. It's fine.
Thank you. Tarun, look at the clock. It's 53 seconds. And count. Don't let it go to 0 because we never know.
So as a part of course, we don't give a choice to the students to choose what to learn. This is a complete course. If you are learning designing, you must learn graphics designing as well, because the Matrix software gives you facility to create your design, render it, and present it on social media. That's how the way it should be. So without investing a single penny, the students even start selling the jewelry. They make it on CAD. The CAD gives them the diamond weight, gold weight, total value, precision, everything, 18 karat, yellow gold, all calculations. They are able to evaluate their design and they start selling on social media. When they sell it, they get the money, they send it, the CAD design to the factory, and they ship it. We even help them to shape, and all these things are there. So we teach them business part as well. There's a lot more, so I cannot go beyond the time, but that's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tarun, Jain, Darren, Sherwood, Laura Inghirami, to be with us today. And it was, I think, everyone appreciated. Thank you very much. Now, coffee time. 15 minutes. Of course, yes. You see, they want a picture with me. I hope that you set a tradition. Let me check my hair. For social media.